I mean, I think with Bigfoot, a lot of the time when people see it in America, they're seeing a bear with mange, or it's got a alopecia or some shit. You know, it's losing its. Maybe it's overly stressed at work and it's just its hairline's fucked up. You know, I don't know. People that, you know, bears from. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I've never left the fucking house. But from what I hear, bears, they stand on their hind legs and they walk around and freak people out.
100%. Look, there is a sense of optimism, and that is so Arnhem Land, right, which is a very vast landscape in the northeastern part of the Northern Territory. There's even a landscape within that, right, which is Western Arnhem Land, and predominantly the landscape features of Western Arnhem Land are these like huge escarpment ranges and crevices, which makes it almost it's impossible for a human to actually go there on foot and to actually, you know, scour this massive surface area. I'm 100% sure there would be species of animals within those crevices and caves and that network there, which people haven't identified yet. They're not on our record book. So whether it be small mammals or, you know, reptiles, the types of dragon lizards, or, you know, species of snakes. I think that's probably one area in Australia that hasn't yet had that type of research and funding. And the only really way to get there is by helicopter. And even once you get into the location on helicopter, your helicopter lands, and then you can only survey that really small location before you just got to fly up and get to another spot and another spot. It's like almost fucking impossible to survey. But, you know, I think if they sent research teams into that location, then possibly. But I do have something interesting, right? So apparently there is this plateau in the middle of the Amazon, right, which has sparked a lot of interest with guys in my industry. And essentially, I believe it was Discovery Channel that wanted to send an expedition onto this plateau. What's interesting about it is the plateau is so high that the indigenous, so like the Amazonians and the indigenous, the uncontacted, actually wouldn't be able to scale this plateau to get to the top of it. And it's some crazy area. Now, I think what's interesting is when I was in South America, I was talking to a couple of the indigenous people there, and there was an interview that one of the uncontacted's done with a journalist. And essentially what happened was when this journalist met up with this uncontacted guy, he gave him a gift, right? And that was just part of their tradition, was to give him a gift. And it was this kind of like rolled up fucking, you know, fur fucking mattress thing. And at that point, he didn't know what it was. And it wasn't until they got back to the Natural Museum that one of the anthropologists looked at it and went, holy fuck. This guy from the uncontacted tribes had actually given this journalist I think it was, you know, the giant sloth. Have you heard of the giant sloth? It's actually supposed to be extinct for the last 20,000 years. He'd actually gave him the cloth, the skin of a giant sloth, saying that it was his great-grandfather who had killed the animal. Essentially meaning that they were still only around 250, 300 years ago, which sparks the whole new interest of, right, well, this plateau that's in the middle of the fucking Amazon, which is its own ecological area, its own fucking natural haven, who's to know what the fuck is up there? There could still be a small population of giant sloths. There could be populations of species of cats that we've never seen before, or primates, you know what I mean? They're uncovering new species already in the Amazon every single day, let alone this location. So it'll be interesting to see whether the Brazilian government will give access to this area and they can get a production company up there to film it.
That's so fascinating to think that in a world where everything is covered by cameras, and, you know, you would think that, you know, you've seen explorers go to the Arctic and they've gone to the Amazon and they've come back, and that seems like a long time ago, 100, 200 years ago, but there is still that one thing. And I mean, that's so fascinating, even with Arnhem Land, that still exists.